Hello and welcome to day 260 of Daily Dose of Dutch. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful Sunday. Maybe you still got quite a few hours left. If you're in that time zone of the Sunday, I hope you have a great afternoon and evening. I had a fantastic Sunday for the simple fact that Sunday for me is a combination of things, but I normally go to my local church twice a Sunday, so in the morning and in the evening. I even had a quick spin with the bicycle, so that was great. But on top of that, I also went to prison this morning. And you might be wondering, Hugo, what are you doing in prison? Well, once a month I take part in a church service in the prison. So I either speak there or I just take part in it. And this morning I was in the Chelmsford prison again. And one of the things that fascinates me when I'm working with prisoners is, first of all, obviously the mess they're in. Because they've done things which the law doesn't allow. And they got caught, they got convicted, and they're being locked up and serving their term. But one of the things that I was thinking about when I was there is the attitude, the difference in attitude that some of the prisoners have. So some are actually saying, well, I messed up and I will probably mess up in the rest of my life. And some people actually say, well, I messed up, but that doesn't actually make me the person that I'm going to be in the future. And that is something which is a choice. And interestingly enough, I was talking to my own minister, my own vicar this evening in church, and we were talking about that people are often using their upbringing, their childhood, as an excuse for the choices they make today. They can't do certain things because of their upbringing. They can't make certain choices. They can't make connections because they have never been taught. And I hear that, of course, as a business coach so often as well, that people can't do certain things now because of their upbringing 20 years ago. So that's why I asked the question, does your upbringing define you? And I don't think it does. I think your upbringing or your childhood doesn't define who you are today. It influences who you are today, and it might influence the things that you do today, but it doesn't define who you are and what you do today. We have a freedom of choice. We can either choose to make a difference, or we can choose to just do the same thing over and over again. And again, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, was Einstein's definition of insanity. And it's the same with things that you haven't learned. If you haven't learned to contact other people, then start learning to contact other people. If you haven't been brought up in a family or with friends, or maybe you didn't have many friends when you were young, that doesn't mean that you can't get any friends now. You can work on that, you can learn that. If you are in a job somewhere and nobody has ever taught you what great leadership was, maybe you had some terrible managers, maybe you had some terrible managing director or CEO. Again, that doesn't have to mean that you have to be a terrible leader or that you have to be a terrible manager. Actually, it means that, first of all, you have a bad example, so you can be different. So you can pick up a management book tomorrow, you can pick up a leadership book tomorrow and start learning how to do it different. So again, your past doesn't define who you are now. Yes, it might influence who you are now, but it doesn't define who you are. Who you are tomorrow, that is what you can define yourself by the freedom of choice. And again, this morning when I was in prison, these people are locked up, so they don't have the freedom to go out and do stuff. But all they have, that they still have, is the freedom of choice. They can still choose to be a better person. They can still choose to read stuff that makes them better. They can still choose to treat their fellow inmates in a respectful and honorable way. And that is the freedom of choice that we all have. With the things that are happening to us and the way we're responding to it, That's where our freedom lies. And again, I didn't come up with that. Stephen Covey has mentioned it in his 7 habits, habits of highly effective people, but he got it from Viktor Frankl. If you want to hear more about him, want to read about him, he wrote a book called Men's Search for Meaning. He survived the death camps, and he said, they can take everything from me, but the last thing they can't take is my freedom to choose how I respond to the situation. So, we're at the beginning of a new week. We have the freedom to choose. So you have the freedom to choose tomorrow morning to go up early and to go for a walk, to go for a jog, to start reading that book that has been on your side table for such a long time. Make that choice, because the freedom is yours. And your past doesn't define you. It might influence you, but it doesn't define you. So I hope that has been useful. A little bit longer than normal, but I just wanted to share this with you because it made such an impact to me when I was thinking about it today. I hope you think this is useful. If you do, please like it. If you think other people might benefit from this Daily Dose of Dutch or other Daily Dose of Dutch, feel free to share them on your timeline. And if you want to reach out to me, you can do that. Just send me an email. My email address is hugo@hugohigh.com. So that is hugo@hugohigh.com. Or just send me a message, comment on this video, and I would love to connect with you. Have a great evening, rest of the day. If you are in New Zealand or Australia and you've just woken up to a new Monday, have a fantastic Monday. Make those choices, because you have the freedom to choose. I wish you well in whatever you're doing, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another Daily Dose of Dutch.